we're almost ready and for the maiden, but a couple observations and some things I'll be still doing to the airplane. So a little bit about component layout. I'm using a Swewin 80 in this case, which makes the back quite light compared, I think, to others. I have a friend that's using a King Tech 104, and he's got different CG issues than I. In other words, so about CG and component layout, I guess. So as you see here, from the top, I'm going to try to film it. I have to put the batteries as far back as I can here. I had to move my fairly large UAT weight close to the tank, and instead of where it was originally, which was here, because that's what the manual called for. So the manual calls for batteries here in the front, UAT like somewhere here, and then you measure CG with wheels down, UAT full, and the main tank almost empty. As you see, mine is almost, you can see a little bit of fuel there. So I couldn't get it to CG, it was nose heavy. So I need to move the batteries close to where the UAT is here. So I was going to just leave the plane without any additional trays to cover up this huge mess, because there is this board here. It's got all these holes cut out, really convenient. You can run all the wiring underneath. But as you see, this is really, really messy. I've got the UAT here. This is the smoke pump, main pump. And I decided I'm going to put a tray here covering all of this so I can put the batteries back here, and then a tray on top here to cover this piping mess. Again, the reason for the decision is CG. If I could install the batteries way down here, I'd probably leave it like this, but we'll have a much cleaner plane. But anyway, it's coming together quite well. That's the smoke tank on the top, main tank, and I have the smoke injector there. I always use a little bit of foil up here because these smoke injector pipes get really, really hot since they're in the stream. I just want to make sure everything's working. So this is my setup. I've got little tabs, right angle tabs, so to make sure the tank doesn't move during flight. And there's one here in the front. Always do that in addition to the Velcro wraps. The smoke tank just has a Velcro wrap. Should be okay. It's not sliding much. Anyway, so that's my layout. I will have the turbine GSU here in the front as well on top of the tray. So I'll be adding trays and we'll see how this all looks. But anyway, stand by. There will be a maiden video coming up. Okay. So a little bit about wiring harnesses and what I do on my jets that have the Spektrum PowerSafe receivers turned on. You have the 10, the 14, and the 20 channel PowerSafe receivers. They all do the same thing, and they have an interesting feature, and that is that the servo ports, the servo output ports, are not voltage regulated. So if you put 2S, you get the full, 2S battery voltage level at up to 8.4 volts. If you plug in 3S, that even handles it, so 12 volts. But let's say 2S, and then in addition to that, those ports can support quite high currents, a lot more than the plugs can actually. They can go up to 35 amps. So what that does is it allows you to power the various retract controllers, pumps, and so forth in the aircraft directly from the servo ports, not just the servos themselves. So I do that, I take advantage of that to reduce the amount of wiring and be able to have a lot less splitters and a lot less wires in the aircraft and fit it under the different boards within the fuselage. So here's an example. I have a smoke pump from Swewin. It had a power lead. This connector was plugged, soldered here. I cut it off. I put the JST because it's smaller. And this Swewin pump works on, can have anywhere from 2S to 3S input. And then of course it has the standard servo-like signal input. So what normally people would do is plug this into your receiver for signal, and then here use this to basically connect directly from the battery with various splitters and so forth. So that creates a lot of wiring. And in addition to that, when your aircraft is sitting at the field, turned off, with the batteries plugged in, all these devices, all these ESCs, all the retract controllers, light controls, they will all consume a little bit of current when they're plugged into the battery, even if everything is off. So you basically are draining your flight batteries over time as the aircraft sitting waiting for you to fly it and so forth. So to avoid all of this, I create this cable harnesses. Yes, it's a little bit of soldering, crimping, but here is an example for my smoke harness. I'm going to plug this directly into port 10 in this case, basically the servo port on the PowerSafe receiver, and I'm splitting it to provide power. This will be clean 2S power because, like I said, the receiver doesn't change the voltage; it just manages the current. And then I am splitting the ground and the signal wire for the signal side. So this will connect like this, and this connects to this JST power connector. And now look how clean this is. And the Swiwen pump is powered and has the signals from one of the servo ports on the PowerSafe receiver. I like this wiring a lot. I've done this already on a couple airplanes. This works really well. And when I turn off my PowerSafe receiver, it shuts off the power on the servo ports, and all of these devices get really powered off. And then the only thing that's connected to the batteries is the PowerSafe receiver. And I have just two batteries connected to the PowerSafe, and all the other wiring is done this way. Here's one that's a little more complicated. The gear one is always a good example. So again, gear port, this will plug in directly to the PowerSafe gear port, channel 5 in my case, and this will power, this is power. This will power the retract controller. This will provide signal to the retract controller. And then in addition to that, the lighting controller also wants to know if gear is up and down, so it could turn on the landing lights. So here is an additional split to the signal portion. And if you have a separate brake controller, it wants to know if gear is up and down. So again, the gear signal is split up. So again, a little bit of soldering, and these are quite compact, and you can fit these in these builds quite easily. I highly recommend this approach. This works really well with the PowerSafe receivers, to really tap into the power management system that is on the servo ports of these receivers. Highly recommend it. So the ViperJet is ready for her maiden. Here a little show off the lighting package. Those are Unilights, but they're controlled by a JP controller. Yeah, she has been covered in glossy coat to look a little bit more like a ViperJet. Those buzzing servos are elevators. Sorry, not flaps. And just a look inside. The cockpit's not fully done yet, but it's got everything needed now. Okay, so inside, again, to summarize, with the Swiwen 80, I had to put the batteries somewhere here to hit CG, and I also have 133 grams of weight way in the back, actually inside the final tube there of the fuselage next to the thrust tube. So with a Swiwen 80, batteries are not all the way to the front. and I still had to put weight in the back. Now I have a slightly, very slightly nose heavy aeroplane. So that's what it looks like, and she's ready for tomorrow.